Okay, before this video gets started, I am expecting that you are capable of doing this on screen. If you see this and think, I don't know what he did, or how did he do that, this video is not for you, right? I am expecting that you are aware of the text and you are adept enough at her that I don't have to explain the fundamentals. I have 2 videos up for the fundamentals of her movement. Go watch that first, learn her, play with her for like a few dozen hours, come back here. Okay. Now, with that out of the way, I'll begin. Alright, we're gonna start off simple. So, you should know by now that when you're shooting, you maintain your height. See? And after your shooting animation is done, you start to fall. So you'll notice right now, since I'm not running extra duo or any dual guns like blue current pulse or whatever, I'm using a shotgun, scream shot. Nobody runs this from my knowledge aside from me. The reason why I run this weapon is you'll notice I fall almost immediately after I shoot. The reason why I want this is because it allows me to do micro adjustments where another weapon type would not allow me. As an example, I'll put up a clip on here on screen. You can see here, I took a screenshot of when I opened the door, or when I entered the door, sorry, my bad, that my head was very close to hitting the top. Oh my god, I can't fucking speak, Jesus. If it wasn't for the shotgun, I could not have micro adjusted my height to a certain level. You could argue you could still do it with a dual gun or any other weapon type, which is true. I will not disagree with you. However, it is a lot easier and you have way more control when you're using a shotgun or any weapon that takes nearly half a second for you to start falling. See? Like I shoot and I'm falling down. Let me swap to extra duo with celerity. It takes like slightly longer for me to start falling down compared to the other. Now, to address the elephant in the room. If you've taken a look at my channel, you'll know that I do not use piercing ascent. Matter of fact, I don't even own piercing ascent. I have never bought piercing ascent. It is not in my inventory. The reason why I don't do the E plus piercing ascent animation cancel is because going too fast is actually too slow. Well, let me rephrase that. Going too fast is actually slower. Because almost in 99% of cases, you are not just going in a straight line. And I'm sure from the clip just now, you can see where I'm about to head. And this is gonna be the main topic of the video. I'm going to introduce you to the racing lines, momentum control, launch control, and drifting. Okay, you might be thinking, what the actual fuck are you on about? Which I understand. This is Do It Night Abyss. This is supposed to be your anime Warframe. And you'd be mostly correct. Except your rhythm is quite literally a car. If you like racing, if you like cars, this is gonna be very easy for you to understand. And it probably has already clicked in your head. Let me show you a clip on the stuff you can start pulling off once you get really good at the 4 things that I mentioned.
Yeah, my minutes out. Hardest time is God. Heard you trying to come right when it's
I am 99% sure you do not know what the hell happened in that clip. And I am even more certain that you do not know how hard that is. Now, let's step back a bit and I'll actually start explaining it now. Because you are not learning this from anyone else aside from me. Nobody else is pushing her limits, from my knowledge, aside from me. Because most people are just running Piercing Ascent with Vernal, which is really good and really easy. You know, you don't need 500 hours to start being able to pull something off with Piercing Ascent. Now, the first thing we should establish is launch control. This is one of the most important and high ceiling skills that you're gonna wanna have. Now, in my fundamentals video, I spoke about how if you precisely timed your skill, you go faster. But if you also precisely time your skill, you can go slower depending on what ideal speed is there for a specific tile. What I mean by this is that you have full control. If you are good enough, you have full control at what speed you're gonna be going at the start. You can choose to go fast or to go slower. That is something that Piercing Ascent cannot do because they go at a fixed rate. And now the next question you might want to ask is, why the hell would I want to go slower? Which leads me into the next topic. The slower you go, the more control you have on your turning. Right? This is a slow speed. You can see I can make a full 180 turn, like pretty wide. And if I go even slower, let's say I go even slower, you know, I can make a really sharp turn. Obviously, you want to balance this out, which is why I mentioned she's literally a car. There are ideal speeds where there are certain corners that you are gonna want to enter. And if you go too fast, you miss them. So you have to hit them with a specific speed. I'll put up more clips for you to visually understand what I am saying. Now that's all well and good. You might say, okay, I get it now. I have to launch at a specific speed. Alright. Now, how the fuck am I supposed to turn? How do I turn and how do I control my momentum while I'm in the air? I got you, I'm about to start. Now the first thing you should be doing is holding W while you're in the air. Hold W always. I'm gonna explain why later, but just always keep pressing W. Now, you hold W and you press either A or D or right button, left button. I don't know if you're playing on controller. Good luck playing this on control. I have no idea. But you hold forward and left and right for you to start turning, which is pretty simple. Now, how do you actually improve this? How do you actually turn better than this? Now, there are two methods. The first method is turning with your camera. This helps you see better and control better because you're still pressing W. So you're maintaining a lot of your speed and turning at the same time. There's also another version which is easier, and I like to do this very often, is where I shoot and then reload like this. This also works, and it's a lot easier to do compared to the one where you're shooting like this, because you have a better field of view and you can see more. Well, that's the same shit, I'm stupid. You get the point. You get to see more of your things if in cases there's like environmental stuff. You can see it clearly and you're able to dodge it or not hit it. Now, I've explained to you how to turn, right? And I've also explained to you that if you're slower, you have better control for your turning. What if you're in the scenario where you're going too fast, or okay, you did your launch, but it's slightly faster than you want it to be, and you want to slow down in the air? How do you slow down in the air? How do you control your momentum so you can still swing left or right when you're drifting? This is where the aforementioned W button also comes to play, and why you should be holding it down. Because, well, I'll go in a straight line. You see, this is you're maintaining your speed when you're pressing W, and you're not losing any of your momentum. But let's say you go in a straight line and look backwards. If you look backwards immediately, you'll notice a lot of my momentum just evaporated or just stopped completely. Like that, see? It's because when you look backwards, you're functionally pressing S, but you're not, because you're just pressing W. You're just looking behind. So you're slowing yourself down by looking behind you. Like that, see? I lose a lot of my momentum when I look behind myself. So let's say you're going at a really high speed, right? And you want to turn right and or left. Or not really a really high speed, a speed that you can control to where you can still turn right or left. You will want to look at a sharp angle at either the right or the left if you want to turn right or left, but you also want to go slower. You look at a sharp angle. Let's say you want to go this way, right? But you're going too fast. You're gonna want to like look here before you do the turn. Hold on. Actually, I'll just put up a clip so it's easier, because explaining it is a lot harder. You will see in that video that I launched faster than I wanted to do, or like what I actually wanted to go at. So I flicked my mouse to the left to turn wide to the left to try and pull back on the right, and because I did not compensate correctly, I did not turn sharp enough to the left to slow down. I had to overcompensate by nearly killing all of my momentum on the right. So I had to essentially look backwards in almost like in a 170-degree angle to slow down and still make the turn, making it very unoptimal compared to one of the earlier clips. I'll show you one compared to this one. Alright, so you saw in that one compared to the other one, I controlled my launch better, meaning I did not need to slow down as much. I just focused on turning with a slight, I slightly slowed down at the end by flicking at the right, but I retained most of my momentum from the launch. Thereby, I reached the door slightly faster compared to the other one. Now, it's all starting to piece together how rhythm is literally a car, right? You want to find the ideal racing lines and the ideal speed for each map tile that is in game. You want to also be able to control the momentum of which you're going, because more likely than not, you're not some perfect robot that's gonna be able to hit the perfect launch every single time. You'll make some mistakes. So being able to slow down so you're able to hit these corners and turns is also very important. This will probably take you a while to get used to, and I would not suggest like trying to do difficult things immediately. Just start off slow by like turning left or right in decent speeds, or even slower speeds, it doesn't matter, and start slowly but surely, progressively doing harder and harder turns with faster and faster speed to try and shave off as much time as you can. I've covered most of the things now, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty much the end of the video. right? I've covered all the 4 topics that I wanted to cover. And if you're still sticking around, I'll throw in a bonus tech for you that's only exclusive to co-op. I'll post. I'll show you the clip, and I'll explain to you how it works. But it's not practical. This is just kind of like a gimmick. It's just very funny that it exists, but this is not something that you should worry about. I just throw in a bonus for you because you stick to the end. I actually don't know the exact reasoning as to why this happens, but this occurs when you press your E and space very quickly. Like I think like a quarter of a second, right? While you're in the air. And this is after you've done one aerial. You have to be in the air once and then do E plus space really quickly. This does not work on solo because I think the reason why this happens is when you input it very fast, the game move stacks it, where it thinks you basically press it at the same time, quite literally, causing you to get the momentum from from your E and the jump mixed together, basically just like pushing you up from literal straight, like with the force of air. You just get flung. And this isn't consistent because sometimes instead of flinging you up, it just instantly kills your momentum. So it's like a gamble. It's either you get slingshotted up or your aerial momentum just stops completely. Which is why I said it was a gimmick tech, but it's very funny that it exists and you can pull off technically some better PBs using this method. Technically, but this is just like, it's more funny than it is useful. I'll put up a conclusion here, probably somewhere, on what key points there are to this video. Thanks for watching. Thank you everyone. To my YouTube members, again, put your names up on screen, and my Patreon members, all of you, give them a round of applause. If you guys haven't noticed, the joke is that there's fucking nobody. Alright, I'll see you.